Hey, Cody Butler here, online marketing expert on the 5-minute mark. But I'm not here just to talk about marketing today. I want to talk to you today about making some really good decisions.
You're watching the 5-Minute Bark podcast on YouTube. If you like this episode, you just may like many more. Subscribe today by clicking the red subscribe button in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so we're live here today with Cody Butler. And the funny thing is right now I am working on my marketing. I'm trying to promote my podcast, to grow my listeners, to grow my courses, and so on and so forth. And here comes Cody Butler reaching out from Australia to come on the show here today. So I have a lot of questions, and I'm sure the audience will too, as to he's mastered online marketing. And if you're like me out there and you have a business, you've known that it's just not easy. It's just not easy at all. And there's some people that have figured it out. I mean, I'm telling you, I've made 100 taglines in the last 3 weeks. And actually, I have some stats in front of me here right now on my Facebook ads. I have gotten, okay, you guys are going to laugh at me out there. I have gotten 24,000 views and 900 link clicks to my website, and I've had 0 conversions. So you out there, I'm sure, are struggling just like I am on how to master this marketing online, how to use email, how to use direct mail. We've got Cody Butler here today from Australia. It took 5,000 million miles to get somebody on here, but we got him on here today. So say hello, Cody.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Thanks for having me today, Dennis. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming on here because, you're going to get a lot of questions here today. So first off, Cody, just tell us a little bit about you. I mean, obviously you got into online business. You probably, had the regular job, couldn't stand it, decided I'm going to live for me, right? I'm going to live for my family. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I really got into this stuff sort of kind of mid to late zeros, 2007, 2008. I really started to get into this stuff. And the reason I got into it was because my wife's Australian and I'm English, and we could see ahead of time if we wanted to be together, we needed to have some kind of money income that was going to be able to be used. We could do it in England or we could do it in Australia, because either way we were going to have to travel, whether we stayed in England or whether we stayed in Australia. We could see that we were going to have to travel a lot, and that required a substantial income and it required a lot of flexibility. So that's when I started really looking into what would meet those needs, and obviously the online thing was the thing that came to the surface. So through some trial and error and through a lot of different circumstances, wound up doing digital marketing specifically for local businesses, helping local businesses with their marketing. And it turned out to be very, very profitable. And, it's a great thing to do. You're helping people keep doors open. You're helping businesses keep their doors open, and you're really making a difference. So it's really a win-win situation. That's how I kind of got into it.
Cody, you're kind of like a Superman. I'm going to be honest here, because there's only so many people that master online marketing. Can you at least share that it was just as frustrating for you at first? I mean, is it or wasn't, or you just...
My goodness. It's the 10-year overnight success story. Yeah. always Learning. And look, I'm a big believer, Dennis, in, don't let perfection stand in the way of action. Imperfect action beats no action at all. So, if I attributed anything to my success, it would be, it's 2 things really. It would be, the first thing would be really knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing, really understanding the why behind it. And that's, wanting to be able to provide for my family, wanting to be able to provide for my wife, and to be able to see our families as well, as I said earlier. And that was a really big why. And the second thing is just never quit. If you can't handle frustration, difficulty, that kind of stuff, it's like you're probably in the wrong business. This is you're going to have to learn to deal with that stuff if you want to succeed, for sure.
Yeah, because it's nothing easy to get this stuff rolling. And like I said, I've been tinkering with copy, having different friends change it, switch it around, and I'm getting people to click on my website, but I'm not getting them to give me their email address. I'm not even asking for a sale. So it's that tough. And I'm pretty, I feel like I'm pretty smart. First off, I haven't had that yet. I haven't had the first person put their email in. I take that back. I've done it for other people, but I haven't done it for myself. But what was it first like for you to get that first sale?
Oh man, it's life-changing. It's life-changing. It's a tiny little sale as well. It was probably like
$7, right?
You're just like, oh my God, someone bought something. Yeah, $7. It's like, oh my God, someone bought something. Because to start with, just like you say, there's a lot of false starts. There's a lot of, stuff like that. And you almost expect it not to work when you put something out. You're like, I'm going to put it out anyway, just because, you got to believe it, right? Or you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
So you continuously put stuff out. And then one day it's like, oh my God, somebody bought something. Oh my God. And it's like, that was that was the most money I'd ever made. To this day, that first $7 was like, wow, that was like life changing. You go, wow, this could work.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my friend the other day. I'm in this field, and there's a pot of gold, and you hear the story. I'm kind of repeating it, but it's the gold is 3 feet underground, and I've got the shovel. I just need to find what shovel is going to find the gold, and because I know it's there, I know that I have a good product. I know I have the tools to be able to do it. It's just finding and putting in the patience to get there. And you did it. And now it's more than just $7. It's thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's just beginning really for you. It's really, once you tap into that, you're able to not only take the education that you give, you can replicate it. I mean, you could sell underwear, you could sell, Bibles, you could sell whatever you want once you understand this process that you've been teaching and learned over a number of years. I'm just really excited. I mean, I feel like I'm talking to Superman today, it's kind of cool. So tell us a little bit about, when you first started, you got the $7. All right. Cause I'm just trying to live this with you. I'm trying to get confidence out of this too. And I'm sure my listeners are like, yeah, Dennis, I'm right there with you. I'm crying right now. Where'd it go from there? I mean, you got one sale, you kind of realized that the copy is there, right? And so on and so forth.
Yeah. So, one of the best things that ever happened to me was one of the worst things that ever happened to me as well. And again, going back to my wife and the Australia-England situation, is we wanted to get married, and we got turned down for a visa, a wedding visa, because I had no demonstrable income. So at that point, I had to get a job. I had no choice. The government basically said, if you want to get married to this girl, you're going to have to show us you've got a job, you've got an income. So I got a job at a digital marketing agency, which I absolutely hated at the time, Dennis. It was the worst, to make an entrepreneur get a job. It's like, yeah, it's a terrible, terrible thing. But look, in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because it got me around people that were professionals within the industry, and where I had some very raw, very rough skills that, I could have refined them over a period of time. It's like getting around other people inside that agency that have been actually doing this stuff for a long time, and they were professionals, they were experienced. And the big thing I really got from that as well was not just the experience. It opened the door to how much people pay for these services.
Yeah. Totally.
So when I was thinking, I can offer these services to clients for X amount of money, I get to the agency side of things, and it's like they're charging exponentially more.
Yeah.
And it's just another light bulb moment. It's like, oh my goodness, people pay this kind of money for these kind of services. So I paid my dues with the agency. I spent my time with them, and that really refined my skills, and that really allowed me to skyrocket to the next level, having that time with the agency.
I mean, certainly that's torture at the same time as education, right? So on your own, you started your company, you're doing this mastering of online marketing, you're doing courses for people, you're actually doing some coaching as well for the high ticket people that really want to kind of nail you down. I love that. I was listening to another podcast you were on, and you talked about curiosity, interest, desire, and desire for funds. I love that. And the way you explained it was elementary. I'm kind of elementary. So if you could kind of go into that a little bit on this technique that you use and teach, I'd love to know about it.
Yeah. So once you master this, you can take it to any industry, anywhere. I mean, basically what we have to understand when we're dealing with marketing is we're dealing with human nature, and we're dealing with people. That's what we've really got to understand. And fundamentally, we're all the same. We all have been the same for centuries, and we all will be the same for centuries. So what worked for the Romans in Rome will work for, the Jetsons in space.
Yeah.
We're people, right? So, and that formula exists. So pretty much we have to start out with curiosity. So there's a process here. And the way I like to think about this is it's like if you're dating somebody. You might bump into somebody and you like them, and you say, hey, do you want to go on a date? And they say yes. And then if you ask them to marry you on that date, then it's probably a no, where it potentially could have been a could have been a yes if you played it right, if you'd been cool and done the right thing. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to create curiosity. That's it. Our goal in our initial communications, whether it be on Facebook or email or direct mail, it doesn't matter. All we're trying to do is create some curiosity. That's it. To grab someone's attention and go, that's interesting, or that's curious. Once we do that, then we're in a position to start to create interest. So curiosity and interest are two very different things. So somebody can be curious and not interested at all. Again, with the dating example, you could be wearing some crazy silly hat and somebody looks at you out of curiosity going, who's this crazy guy? Right. That doesn't mean they're interested.
Yeah.
Curious.
So let's take the example of a podcast, right? I'm trying to get the guests to come on the show here. And how would I use curiosity as an example? So I'm trying to get guests. Say I'm a client of yours and I have a podcast. I'm trying to get more guests on my show. What would the curiosity be in that case? As an example.
So really you've got, so the first thing is you've got to understand what your listeners want.
Right.
What they want to get out of your podcast. Why would they listen to your podcast? What is it that they want to get out of it? And then you build a curiosity factor around that. So if your podcast was on dating, for example, let's go with that because we've been talking about that. Then we know that people want to get more dates, right? So if your message was, hey, if I could show you how to get a date by the end of the day, would you be interested? Would you watch my podcast if I could show you how to do that? So that's going to get their curiosity. They're going to go, okay. But then you've got to actually turn that curiosity to interest. And it sounds like what you're talking about with 24,000 views on Facebook and 900 clicks. It's like maybe you're creating that curiosity there,
right?
But it's not actually turning into interest. That's why they're not signing up. So, something along those lines.
Gotcha. So the curiosity, so it's something that's going to get, okay, so, all right, let me click here. And then they click. And the curiosity ends up being interest, where I guess that's where I'm having my block. So now you have the interest. Now you have to show them something, right?
You got to back it up at this point.
Yeah, you've got the stage.
And that's where curiosity turns into interest. Yeah. So if you've got case studies, testimonials on your landing page or whatever that says, you've got 10 people saying, hey, Dennis showed me how to get a date within 4 hours of watching his podcast. Now you've got some social proof. You've got something to back up and convert that curiosity into interest. Now they're probably going to give you an email address.
Right.
Because that interest is there. The curiosity is building. It's become interest. And now they're willing to actually make a commitment. And once that commitment's made, then we can start to transition that interest into desire.
And, I watched some of your interviews and so on and so forth. And you said you're still big on mailing and you're still big on emails. A lot of people don't understand the power that still lies in those. Explain why.
Well, again, direct mail is really easy because nobody does it anymore.
Yeah.
So mailboxes are emptier. And look, my audience, as far as having a done-for-you agency business goes, I'm working with business owners, running ads for them. And there's a lot of affluent business owners that are in the baby boomer generation that are simply not going to be available through digital means.
Right.
They just really love a letter. And, I've got some really big national clients that they've called me up after sending them a direct mail. And I say, hey, let me ask you a question. You're obviously getting targeted every day. What made you call me today? And the guy said, you sent me a letter. I liked that. You signed it. I liked that. I like a signature. So, there's something about a pen going on a piece of paper and sending it to somebody that's just can't be replicated digitally. It gives credibility. There's something personal about it that isn't there. But with email, look, the thing with email is everybody just does it so badly. It's not that it doesn't work. It's that people don't understand that curiosity. So they're asking the client to marry them before they've even created the curiosity. So, they might say, hey, web design services or SEO services or Facebook ad services. That might be the email subject line or something like that. And look, the guy doesn't even know that he needs Facebook services. So why on earth is he going to respond to your email or even open it when he's probably got 10 of those today, all saying exactly the same things, or very generic, not understanding that the goal of that email is simply to create curiosity. Or all you want to do with that initial email is just create some curiosity to get them to the next stage, which is interest. And really, separating, Dennis, and segmenting each step and understanding that each step is different. Now again, I mean, the relationship example works really well. If you'd behaved in the early stages like you were married to the person, that would be inappropriate and that would end the relationship. And vice versa. Once you're married, if you act as though you're in the early stages of the relationship, that's inappropriate, and that's probably going to damage the relationship. There are certain behaviors that are required at each step of the relationship that are just inappropriate at any other time. And marketing is exactly the same. We've got to understand where we are in the relationship with the prospect and what behavior is appropriate at that particular time. And if we behave appropriately, and we give the right messages and we take them to the right steps, we take them from asking them on a date to buying them dinner to calling them again to spending some courting time to proposing to getting married to having kids. That works. Whereas if we just go, hey, let's have kids on the first date, it's like, whoa, you're freaky. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. Whereas if you'd have played it cool, if you understood the relationship and how that relationship unfolds, we could have got to that point very easily and very quickly. And that's the problem, Dennis. People understand with relationships that there's certain ways to behave that's appropriate and inappropriate. But in the marketing relationship, which, as I say, we're just people. You're a person, I'm a person. And if we're trying to sell each other something, we still have to behave appropriately. It's still a relationship, and we have to understand the rules of that relationship. We have to move through that relationship in an appropriate and timely manner. And we can do that beautifully with email. We can do that beautifully with Facebook. But if you don't understand the steps, forget about it, as they say.
Cody, you really brought up a very big point here. Apple, listeners, this is a good one for you too, is Apple does not have its own marketing agency. They hire out separately. Yep. And as you talk about this relationship situation, when I find a girl I really like, I go in a tizzy. We all do. And we want them so badly. So we just, like you said, we want to marry him right away. We try to jump over the steps. And when a lot of us don't have that patience, and some people do. But that's really why you want somebody like Cody, for example, who's on the outside thinking for you, because you're in your box. You're wanting the date. You're wanting to get married. But they're going to say, whoa, we need to establish the relationship. And it sounds like, well, I can't afford to hire an agency, or I can't afford to do these things. By the time you spend 3, 6, 12 months trying to figure this out on your own, which you probably could figure it out on your own, you have spent 10 times what it would cost to get a professional that's going to take you through the steps, that shows you the way, that gets you the action right away to that one $7 sale. I would kill for one $7 sale right now. I mean, and it sounds stupid, but I mean, I'd love to have that sale. And it's interesting. I mean, I've got my course is worth thousands, unquestionably. I mean, I basically have created a course called Manufacturing Celebrity Status, and I have people like yourself that I can reach out to that will come on my course and tell people inside and out details. Nobody can get. I have that ability because I've interviewed 170 people. So I've got my course. I got the hardest part down. I can't even give that thing away. So that's a difference between, having the right marketing people around, and trying to figure it out on your own. I'm great on a podcast. I'm great at teaching, and showing. I've been around the world as a professional athlete and so on and so forth, but I do understand the value of an online marketing team, a person like yourself. Like I said, I just show you my results. I spent that the other day. 24,000 people reached, and I actually had a great click-through rate, 900 people, but nobody even put their email in it, and I wasn't asking for a sale. So it does take people like yourself to take us to that new level. What's the success story you have for us of a client?
Oh, I've got so many success stories.
I want the best one. Because maybe somebody that didn't really believe in you, right? That took the chance and went with you.
Yeah. Look, I've got the stories where people are making hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars off of what I've taught them. But, they're not the success stories because they're people that were probably going to be successful anyway, right? I've just expedited their journey. To me, the real success stories are people that, the stay-at-home mom that was able to start a business and make a livable income from the information that I gave her, where she doesn't have to get a job. She can stay at home and she can raise her children now. Or those type of things that have actually made a huge difference to people's lives, where their lifestyle has actually changed, or they've been able to achieve something that they weren't able to. I've got people that I've worked with that now are making. I've got a couple of guys I started working with middle of last year. They've added $300,000 worth of business in that time. A whole bunch of people that are adding $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month of revenue to their business as a direct result. But like I said, it's the people that have really struggled with this for a long time. And they've got a big why. They really know why they want to do something. They want to provide for their family. They want to make a difference in the lives of people around them. And it does. Look, here's the thing, Dennis. An extra $1,000 a month for most people is revolutionary.
Yeah.
We can really get hung up on this internet thing where we see the big, huge success stories, millions of dollars, or $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month, $500,000 launches, and that's great. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's like an extra $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month would be absolutely revolutionary to the average person. And if you can show somebody how to do that in a way that's time effective, and they can do that, those are the success stories to me. The people that really need that boost, and I'm able to provide that for them.
Yeah, so you're shooting at the reality. I mean, not everybody's going to be this online marketer. It's just more than. It's just more than. And but if you can help somebody get $1,000, $2,000, $2,500 extra a month, you're right. That's plane tickets to the UK or the United States, or
exactly right.
It's that extra education you wanted, or the extra basketball for the kids, or whatever that didn't really come in the income. I get it. And I appreciate you for thinking that way for those people, because they're not, they're being told to make 50,000, but realistically you can get them to 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 a month realistically. So,
well, look, Dennis, you take somebody that's in a job right now. Can I get them to $50,000 a month? Probably can, but the amount of time and effort and work that they're going to have to put into that it's not realistic. You're going to have to give up your entire social life. You're going to have to give up some sleep. You're going to have to give up your weekends, and you're going to have to work like a big dog. It's not going to happen for, it's just not realistic. And for me or anybody to sit here and say that you're going to get to $50,000 while in a full-time job, it's disingenuous of me to say that, but to say, hey, look, we can get you to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month while in the part-time job or while in the job, and then get some understanding of what this business is about, what it's involved, and once you've got some cash flow going on, once you've got a little bit of experience, then make that jump. That's a much more realistic thing to promise people. Yeah.
Another thing, Cody, I mean, here you are on the podcast. You reached out to me. You went the extra mile to do that. There's something to be said in that as well. People need to understand that you need to do the reaching out. You have to take that extra step. And the people that are going to do it are going to get the success. I do it all the time. You do it all the time. And that's why people are watching us or listening to us now. Any advice on getting these people at least started to where they can figure out, hey, I need somebody like Cody Butler, but here's some things I can get to prove what he does is right. So maybe something that's starting out with.
Yeah. So look, this all starts with a decision. Without a decision, without commitment, it's just give it up. There's nothing there. Nothing's going to happen. You've got to want to make a change. That's where it starts. And look, the methodology, the techniques, the copy and paste stuff is so easy. It's so easy. I mean, it's literally, I can copy and paste you to success in a very, very short period of time. But you have got to make a decision. You've got to want to do it. And I can tell you when things really, really changed in my life was when I said, enough is enough. And I'll give you the story, Dennis. I'll give you the abridged version. This was back before 2009 is when it was, before I had any success at all. I was making less than $10,000 a year, and into all the positive thinking stuff, into all the law of attraction, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I'm wise, all lies. Wasn't any of that stuff. And I was driving to my mum and dad's. I went to see my mum and dad one day, who was 75 miles away from me. And when I was leaving, my mum stopped me and handed me 20 pounds, which is like $30, and said, take it because I don't want to not see you for another month because you can't afford the gas money to come back. And you know what, Dennis, she was absolutely right. I took that money from her. I took that $30. I was 35 years old, and I took that money. And on that 75-mile drive home, which was an hour and 20 minutes, I mean, I was disgusted with myself. I was absolutely disgusted. I was like, here I am, 35 years old. I'm telling myself I'm wealthy, I'm wise, I'm adding massive value, when actually it's lies. I'm actually 35 years old taking money from my parents when I should be giving to them. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. I can remember it like I was there. And I just said, this is it. Today is the day my life changes. I will never take money out of need again. I will never take from my parents out of need again. I was on government assistance. I said, tomorrow, that ends. Tomorrow I go to the government housing office and that ends. And I will not stop till I've resolved this. I will not stop until I've got to where I want to be. And it was a decision. And Tony Robbins says it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. And that was my moment of decision that I can tell you for a fact has shaped my destiny. Now, everybody wants the how-tos, how did you do it? Give me the copy and paste. What's the email template? What's the direct mail template? I'll give you that. It doesn't matter because unless you've made a decision, it's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to work for you. It's that decision that says enough is enough. No more, not another day, not another hour, not another minute will I stay in this state that I'm in. No longer will I accept the conditions that I've created for myself in my life. I'm taking responsibility for my life today, and things are changing today. And that's the thing, right? And if I can give anybody anything from this call today, Dennis, that's what it is. Make that decision and burn your bridges. And look, like I say, I was into the law of attraction and all that stuff. But I tell you what's infinitely more powerful than the law of attraction. It's the law of rejection. Trying to attract something into your life that you don't have and may never have is pretty hard. Saying, I reject this from my life. You can do that today. You can say, I reject poverty. I reject being broke. I reject being insignificant. I reject being unknown. I reject all of that stuff, and the law of attraction is infinitely more powerful, or the law of rejection is infinitely more powerful.
I love that. You just inspired me. I mean, really did. The law of rejection. I'm going to post that on Facebook right now. You better like it too. I'm speechless. I mean, you're dead on right. It's decisions and like I said, I made the decision that I'm going to figure this marketing out, and we're going to probably have to talk after this. And no, really. And but I like how you say the rejections too. I think that's really, really important. It's because I'm telling you, because I'm in the situation I am, and it's always been that way for my life. Because I've had many businesses I've been very successful at. I'm constantly having people come to me with opportunity and different things, and I have to say no. I have to say no and go after what I want, appreciatively, of course. But I can get days and weeks sucked up by just that kind of stuff, And I'm sure you out there, listeners are out there. I mean, I hope you appreciate this advice that we've gotten here today. I've listened to a lot of people, but it really is that simple. If we're into law of attraction, all these different things, I'm a Tony Robbins buff myself. I've been in his infomercial. And, if you look him, I can't see back behind me, but I've got all the tools and all that stuff. It is about the frickin' decision, period. So it's whether it's the decision of figuring out your online marketing with Cody Butler, or your business, or anything in your life. It's a decision and sticking to it. Gosh, Cody, I'm appreciating you came on the show here today. This has been awesome.
Thank you,
really
Dennis.
Awesome. It's great that we both get to learn from each other here today. If people want to reach out and they know, like, and trust you, where do they find you, and what would that process be?
So I've got a couple of websites. You can go to codybutler.com/5-minute bark. I set a page up there where you can get some free information if you want to know more about what I do and the processes that I use. I put a case study together there that shows you the whole process of what I do. Codybutler.me is another one. And like we've been saying, anybody that's made a decision that's really determined to do something, you'll find me. I'm not undercover. Yeah. I'm out there. So Cody Butler, you Google me, you'll find me if you want to find me.
I love it. Cody, thank you again for coming on the show here today. Listeners, I thank you guys every day for coming and watching and listening, whether you're on iTunes or on YouTube. Please share this episode here. If you see it on YouTube or you see it on Facebook, please share. And this has been great. Really, really great. And thank you for you reaching out today.
Thanks for having me, Dennis. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you again. You're watching the 5 Minute Bark Podcast on YouTube. If you like this episode, you just may like many more. Subscribe today by clicking the red subscribe button in the top right-hand corner.